The employment cycle. The management of the employment cycle of each individual employee is the responsibility of the human resource management and the staff in the HR department. The employment cycle refers to the stages that an employee's career passes through as they progress in terms of their employment within the organization. It encompasses the stages frequently referred to as recruitment, selection, induction, training, development, maintenance, motivation, finally termination or suppression. It is important that the HR manager has systems in place that not only monitor these various stages and assist the employees to reach optimum performance level, but that controls are put into place for the benefit of the individual employees on career as well for the benefit of the organization as a whole. In developing various policies and procedures associated with the employment cycle, the HR manager must take into account previous organizational practices and procedures, the legal rules and regulations already in force, and the rules or regulations that the organization must comply with, together with the award or enterprise agreement that already apply to the specific job or organizational workplace. The HR manager must also take into account known and sensible principles of business ethics and social responsibility. Specific obligations and responsibility arises out of the relationship between employees and the employer and must be included in the policies and procedures relating to employment cycle. So employment cycle will be resource planning, recruitment, selection, induction, training and development, maintenance, motivation, and then termination. Human resource planning. The HR manager need to plan in advance for the need of the organization. The manager need to know how many employees are needed, when they will be needed, for how long they will be needed, what skills they need to have, what rate of the pay will be offered in terms of the condition of their employment. The level of employment will depend on the level of economic activity and level of the production at that particular point in time, and what is likely is the next period and how this impacts on the organization. In addition, the relative cost of outsourcing job as opposed to employing staff must also be weighted and considered. Job analysis. The HR manager will need to assess each job within the organization to ensure that it is actually needed. The HR manager must ensure that it is quite clear what the job entails in terms of the task to be completed, skills that employees need in order to perform this task, the type of the equipment required to perform the task, the level of interaction between this job and other within the organization, the level of performance required of the employees performing the task. The end result will be clear job design with the designated job specifications, a statement of the personal characteristics, skills, education, qualifications, experience required to perform the job, a job description, a statement of the task and activities and areas of responsibility associated with the job. The process associated with a job analysis should commence with the assessment and a skill audit of the current position within the organization, followed by research relating to similar job carried out within similar organizations. The process may be carried out by interview, survey, questionnaire, or observations. Recruitment and selection. Once the human resource manager has determined the demand of the future employment, the actual process of recruiting these staff members must commence. The HR manager must now determine from where the prospective staff member will source. The sources of the employment may be in-house or outsourced. The medium of the source may be any of the following: advertising, newspaper, journals, radio, television, billboard, notice board, brochure and leaflet, internet, online resume, interview at educational institutions, word of mouth, networking, referral, lost applicant on file, waiting list, government agencies, employment agencies, professional association or competitions. The HR manager must weigh the relative advantage and disadvantage of employing person using internal as opposed to external sources. Prospective applicants will post an email or deliver their letters of the application and resume, and the human resource manager will need to select those applications that are to proceed to next stage in the recruitment process. The screening process will eliminate those applicants that do not highlight the necessary skills or qualification required for the specific job advertised. A short list of the prospective employees will then be drawn up. All applicants should be contacted and told the outcome of the screening process. Some of the prospective employees may be suitable employees at a later date. It is important to keep these employees on side. The prospective employees may be required to complete an interview form before the actual interview process is taking place. The successful applicants should then be informed of the next meeting, which will be arranged to discuss remunerations, terms and conditions of the employment. Once this discussion has been completed, amicable arrangement agreed upon, the prospective employees should sign the appropriate document and provide it with a starting date with the organization. Employment package, agreement and contracts. The employer and the prospective employee must then meet to discuss remuneration, terms and conditions of the employment. An award or enterprise agreement may already have set the actual remuneration level and the terms and conditions of the employees. The safety net of employment, terms and conditions would already been prescribed by legislation, either state, commonwealth, country legislation. However, there may also be individual contract that may be drawn up between employees and employer. Actual terms and conditions of the employment may vary greatly between employees. The actual level of the remuneration included in the individual's employment package may be combination of material and non-material types. The individual employees and the employer will need to consider all relevant legislation when negotiating the employment package. There are many different types of the benefits that may be included in employment package for employees. They include motor vehicles, education expenses, share issue, profit sharing arrangement, vacation provision of technological equipment, mobile computers, mobile phones, office location, and other benefits such as medical expenses, retirement funds, superannuation contribution. The majority of employees will, however, simply be offered a flat wage and safety net terms and conditions of the employment. There are a number of workplace agreements that a prospective employee may be asked to agree to and sign before accepting employment. This agreement may be in the forms of workplace agreement, a certified agreement, an enterprise flexibility agreement, or similar agreement by another name, depending on which part the world you are reside or working in. This agreement will set out rates of pay, condition of the work including hours of work, leave provisions, employees relation and dispute resolution process, termination or severance process, or career and promotion path. Management will have to decide which of these agreements will be used within the organization. On the other hand, an individual employee contract may be used to set out all of the above conditions. This contract will be between the employee and the employer and be of a stated period of time and negotiated directly between an individual employee and the employer. Induction, training and deployment. Immediately prior to the employee starting the job, a period of familiarization and induction would take place. Management should have in place an induction policy and procedures that are to be allowed. Management may appoint a mentor, or the mentor will be responsible for the orientation process. Training and development flows. Induction. This training and development will involve basic and induction training followed by advanced training and cross or multi-skill training. In addition, personal development training may take place designed to enhance personal performance. The type of the training undertaken may be self-paced learning or competency-based training with or without recognition of previous competencies. Competency-based training requires that the employees reach a prescribed standard before they are permitted to advance to the next stage in the training. This training may be in-house, outsourced, or it may be on job or off the job. This training will enable the individual employee to enhance their performance or interns the organization and to improve their job promotion prospect. The training will also hopefully improve employee motivation and job satisfaction and decrease cost of production by reducing the level of waste, reducing the number of the lost time incidents and the level of absenteeism. The training need analysis of the organization will need to be undertaken and a program of training put into place in order to achieve organizational objective. The main aim of any training program should be to minimize any performance gap and to fit the performance of the organization to the next level in attempt to reach the benchmark. In addition, the program should be designed to enable individual employees to achieve career path goals. An evaluation of the outcomes of the training program should be made to ensure that the goals and objective of the programs recognition and award or remunerations the desired outcome of the employment process for any employee. Employers must find a way to appropriately recognize, reward, and remunerate their employees so that their employees continue their employment with the organization and so that their performance is at the benchmark. Recognition and award may be in the many forms: wage and salary, fringe benefits like expense account, low-cost loan, non-monetary rewards like office location, canteen facility, commission and performance-based remuneration, stock issue bonus, social-based benefits. Performance appraisal. The level of the employee's performance to key to the business success. Managers are responsible for the performance of the employees and should therefore establish a system whereby the performance of each employee is evaluated on a regular basis. Such an assessment will help the organization to achieve its objective and help it to run both efficiently and effectively. There are many methods that may be used to assess the performance level of the employees. These methods include management by objective, performance appraisal system, personal interaction and feedback. Performance appraisal method includes process of establishing the performance level of the employees, developing the criteria to be used to evaluate the performance of the employees, and actually carrying out the appraisal and providing feedback to the employees. The end result will be assessment of the performance of the employees based on the current period and projection of the expected performance over the next period. Performance appraisal process may be carried out by the outsourced organization, superiors or peer of the employees before appraised. There are many steps for successful appraisal process: the preparation of a written self-appraisal, an evaluation of employees' work performance, a discussion between appraiser and appraisee, a written statement of the intended outcome of the process, personal objective, benchmark to be achieved, assessment process to be followed, a signing of the agreement, a future evaluation of the outcome of the agreed document. Management by objective is another method of the employee's performance appraisal. This method relies on the creation of a set of objectives that an employee hopes to achieve within a specified time period. A timeline is established and assessment for the employee's performance is based on the extent to which the employees achieve these objectives within the specified time period. A new goals are established when the original goals have been attained. Human resource management, termination or separation. The final stage of employment cycle is termination or separation. An employee may leave an organization voluntarily or by some action or inaction on behalf of management to be forced to leave the organization. It is important that management follows legislative procedure before terminating an employee's employment or when the employee is leaving the organization voluntarily. Here is a short video where you can. HR manager must offer counseling, support and advice for employees and ensure that all legal requirements are satisfied. If the HR manager does not follow these legislative guidelines, the organization may find itself faced with litigation for the unfair dismissal. It is important for HR manager to ensure that termination of the employment is in the best interest of the organization and the employees, as it will cost the organization a considerable sum of the money to recruit another suitable employee. In addition, the HR manager or a member of the HR staff should conduct an exit interview to establish the reason why the employee is leaving the organization. if the termination of the employment is voluntarily.